I'm going off the rails on a crazy train.
Hey, everyone. I'm Tony. I don't normally start this portion of the thing.
I thought you were going to say, gaming edition. You just did the intro.
Gaming edition.
Hey, guys. Let's do that later.
Hey,
guys, my name's Kenny. I'm your host tonight, and I'm joined by my good friend.
Hey, everyone. I am Tony, the guy pushing all the buttons. I take 2 weeks off, and all of a sudden, I forget everything.
I don't need this TV. I don't need your shenanigans.
Your shenanigans. Shenanigans. Sheniggies.
They survived that. That guy got lost.
Hey, weren't you in here last time with, what's her face?
This is a different run through. I've caught up to our campaign.
What's her face? I mean, our other host, Taylor, who is, in fact, not here. So, yeah.
I for some reason thought it was a good idea to send the monk in by himself, surrounded by 9 enemies.
He can handle it.
No, he did not.
Flurry of blows, my friend. Shamgar be with you.
He can't flurry of anything. He's flurry of catching his breath.
Oh, he's winded. He's winded.
He's doing death saving.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Wow, how many of your companions do you have?
So I have a mod that allows me to have all of them.
All of them.
So this is a tight party. There's even a mercenary, Kurz. He's not even a main character. I hired him.
It's starting to look as crowded as our Friday night games.
They weren't that crowded. Unless we have everybody.
Everybody.
Belcade and
Everybody.
and
I'm talking about everybody.
Everybody.
Belcade, Y-Vaxis. There was Cassandra. Who was her brother's name? Kristoff.
He died never. We resurrected him, but we never saw him again.
Also,
we never saw...
No, he came back for one more go-around. I think that was around the Doppelganger.
Which was...
Oof. Which was
look,
weird.
a new subject. Man, I'm getting my butt kicked.
Stop doing that.
I should have chose a different strategy. I was a Nimrod and thought, I could just do Step of the Wind, Thunder waves a bunch of times, and I did. I almost killed the boss in here in one round, just doing that strat, but everyone else has got a freaking crossbow and went ham on me.
Oh, man. Got a bunch of people messaging me about a bunch of things. Which has
down he goes.
Nothing to do with what I'm currently doing.
Has nothing to do with what I'm currently doing. I'm the mighty Skadoosh-a-roo. I skadoosh, and then a roo. My brother, Jakey, has that for my name in his contacts.
Skadoosh?
The mighty Skadoosh-a-roo.
The mighty Skadoosh-a-roo. That is hilarious. That is awesome, and I approve.
That is awesome, and I approve.
The mighty Skadoosh-a-roo. Oh, man. Okay, so.
Things are not looking good. Suffice it to say, things are bad.
Where you're at right now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, whatever you do, okay, it cannot be as bad as the dude who was killed to death by a kangaroo in a petting zoo.
I feel like that guy did something wrong.
It happened. It happened. Some dude was murdered to death in a petting zoo by a kangaroo.
If I just put Lizelle in the middle, maybe they'll attack her instead.
I'm gonna look up that story because I saved it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh.
Also, poor dude.
Poor dude. Poor dude. I mean, honestly, poor his family because they gotta live with that too. At least my dad didn't die in a petting zoo.
That's just when you don't go to school gloating about how your dad died.
You don't die. You be the quietest kid from now on, is what it is. You don't get in any fights because some kid is going to be like, better knock it off or I'm going to call Kangaroo Jack.
Start playing the Mama Said Knock You Out. I'm going to knock you.
A man was found dead inside an enclosure of 4 kangaroos and wallabies in the South Carolina on Friday at a family-owned 5-star farm. So this was in the States even.
Dang. I'm going to heal me.
The man was identified as a 52-year-old name I'm not going to say because I'm going to be classy like that after just getting done making fun of him. The Horry County Sheriff's Department, Horry, not lion.
The Horry.
The Horry County.
Horry.
The Horry County Chief Deputy Coroner told Newsweek on an email Sunday morning. Newsweek reached out to the Horry County Police Department via phone.
So funny.
and the farm over email for further comments outside of business hours. The farm has a petting zoo that holds educational interactive programs for families and children, according to its website. In addition to wallabies and kangaroos, 5-Star Farms website advertised other exotic animals such as camels, zebras, llamas, and zedonk.
Zedonk?
Yep, is Zedonk, zedonk. The honky tonk zedonkadonk.
It would appear so.
Yes, a combination of a zebra and a donkey. This is an actual article. That is. Oh my gosh! All right. The farm also hosts more traditional animals like goats, sheep, donkeys, and miniature horses. And it's one of only 3 states owning a kangaroo that is not prohibited, according to the Myrtle Beach Sun News. Yeah. So, trying to... You know, I was sitting there thinking just now after reading this, because, like, it doesn't say in the article that there's, like, any evidence that the kangaroo got aggressive with it.
Got aggressive with it?
Yeah.
Got down with the bad self?
Yeah. There's no, from what I can see right here, there is no video or anything like that. It just says, like, he was just found in the animal enclosure. And Dennis DiStabato,
DiStabato?
DiSabato, DiStabato. Dennis DiStabato, a Horry County councilman.
Wait, okay, so this website you're on, is it The Onion?
No, this is Newsweek. This is Newsweek.
What is happening right now?
Dennis DiStabato,
DiStabato.
a Horry County councilman.
A Horry?
It's an old Newsweek station, WBTW.
DiStabato.
That the kangaroo was directly involved in the death. So, this councilman, whose last name is DiStabato,
because he be DiStabato toes.
He's a councilman. DiStabato told them that the kangaroo was directly involved.
Hey, it's not like you're the Honorable John Boner. You had to change your name to Boehner. Because that happened. The Speaker of the House was named John Boner.
Reported that another council member, Mark Cossey, That's also not Mark Causey. DeStabito and Causey. Causey. Said that the guy would go into the enclosure and play rough with the kangaroo. He added that the animal had not been euthanized and is usually not aggressive. Causey also told the news station that the kangaroo experts were expected to come to the farm this week and inspect the enclosure. The Hawaii County Police Department, said on Saturday in a Facebook post that the animals in the petting zoo don't present any further danger, and that there are a number of animals at the incident location. All animals are accounted for and contained, and that there is no risk to the community. So I full on think that dude was murdered, and they just threw him in the kangaroo pen.
You think so, huh?
Just reading that doesn't that what that sounds like? The dude was just beat up, right? And then all of a sudden, these two council members, right? So why are council members directly involved in a murder investigation at a petting zoo? Okay, so these two council members are like, nah, dude used to do that stuff all the time. We tell him, hey, Mr. Guy, you shouldn't be in there doing that with them, that kangaroo. It's gonna hit you. And he just did it, and now he's gone. But these two, and one of them's last name is Stabito, DeStabito. The other one's last name is Causey. DeStabito and Causey, and both of them are like, yeah, that dude does that all the time. I think he was murdered and then thrown in there. And they also even said, yeah, but he's not usually aggressive, and he seems just fine now.
That's what happened at Waterworld with the orcas. Where the incidents kept building up, and finally they had to shut down the orca exhibits because the orcas kept killing people or ravishing them. All right, the only person that went down was me. Not good for my ego, but here we are. Look at that, we're all getting level ups.
At least you didn't get killed by a kangaroo. At least you didn't get murdered and then blamed on a kangaroo.
I got dropped because I was an idiot and went to go do some Thunderwave shenanigans in a room full of enemies. And then the second one is Gale failed Crown of Madness and he killed me. He just walked right up to me and went, Thunderwave. And my character's body went, ah!
Oh, that's the wrong one.
I need to get some rogue up in here. I'm going to have a lot of things competing for my bonus action. Like an unbelievable amount of things. Cleric level 6, y'all. What's going on?
That's just me.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah, that's just me.
I'm getting some messages myself.
I'm just trying to do some, just trying to do some.
That is you.
I told you, it's just me. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't believe me or nothing.
Gain the maximum hit points possible when healed. They also gain advantage on wisdom saving throws and death saving throws.
Did I ever tell you about the one thing that annoys me about this game?
What's that?
It is the only thing, there's a couple of things, but this is the thing that actually really annoys me about this game, is that you cannot make a fat character.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
Yes, that irritates the living crap out of me. There are two body types, and neither one of them is me. I want some representation.
But do you deserve that representation?
Probably not. Let's be honest here.
Do I plan on dying? No. But do I want Revivify all the same? You bet your biscuits. Shoot, I don't even know what cleric I am. Do I want more cleric?
So I found out that this is cross-platform now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No, you better look that up.
I actually,
I need verifiable
hey,
evidence.
I already looked it up. It is already verified.
Why are we not playing this together? Why is Ian, you and I, not playing this together?
Probably because like our schedules have not matched up. I actually just found.
No. We just want to like not invite Kenny to go watch movies.
Don't even start.
I'm starting.
Don't even start.
I'm bringing drama into the studio. You wanted to go watch Thunderbolts and Accountant 2 without me. I went and called Ian. I was like, hey, you know how you said you wanted to go watch movies after all this was said and done? Hey, best movies up. And he's like, I've already watched them with Tony.
Next movie?
What next movie?
No, you want to go? Next movie.
What's the next movie?
I don't know. Let's look it up. Let's look it up right now.
You go. Why are we not playing Baldur's Gate?
Look, I'm telling you right now, the Baldur's Gate thing for me, there's two reasons why. One, I'm not playing with a whole lot of anyone.
You could be playing with me though.
But I'm not, and here's the reason why, is because number one, I don't have room on my Xbox.
What happened to it?
So the Xbox Series S only comes with a very limited amount of memory for any games that are optimized for Series XS, right? And I have the Series S, which means I have less memory than the X. So I have to go out and buy a $150 expansion card for memory, so that way I could have more than a few games. Okay, my kids also play on my Xbox, which means that they download games, which means that they've deleted my games. One of those games was Baldur's Gate.
Your kid deleted Baldur's Gate.
Yes, they uninstalled. They uninstalled my game Baldur's Gate. Now, the flip side of that is that I haven't had time because
you're a nerd.
All the way through the week, obviously work, okay, studio, okay, and then on Fridays we've been doing our Friday night games, and then Saturdays I've been trying to have some time with the family, door dashing, so on and so forth. You've also been pretty busy on the weekends. So now Friday night games are up.
Well,
I'm going to move my door dashing nights to Friday nights because they are more profitable in our area.
We could be playing Baldur's Gate on Saturdays.
This is a possibility.
We need to get Ian up on that.
He has work on Saturdays.
We need to kidnap. You know how Zach keeps saying they're gonna kidnap me during the weekend? We're just gonna bust in there, take him away, and like we're gonna tie him up loosely with ropes,
Mm-hmm.
and then whenever his boss calls him, be like, "We have your guy," and he's just got ropes around his shoulders, and then we'd be playing Baldur's Gate, and then by the end of his shift, we send him back.
Okay.
Say that his family paid whatever ransom we asked for.
Just gonna forewarn you here on this one. When we do play, I have not gotten very far.
I have.
And I'm not very quick at the game.
I will.
Like
so take you through this game. I took Taylor through the game. All right.
Like when it comes to combat and whatnot, I have frustrated people so much in combat on this game that they've quit playing with me.
Why? What are you doing?
I take a while, or there. All right, so there's this one time, you know, D&D. I'm mostly playing a martial class character, right? Barbarian, monk, fighter, so on and so forth, right? So the good dude's like, hey, I'm gonna make you the cleric or the wizard, and I was like, okay, I gotta cast spells, okay. So I'm like, oh, cool, I'm gonna cast some spells. I click a button, and I suck. Keep in mind. So what do? My character runs up on the enemy, and I go to cast a spell. Running up on it immediately gave me disadvantage. And not only do I miss, but because I ran up on it, it had an AoE. I think it was like Firebolt or something like that. And I also got hit. And we went down. Yeah, and he's like, why do you keep doing this? He got so mad at me over all of this. I suck.
Well,
so bad.
The thing about playing with me and Ian is that we'll just laugh at you because you suck.
You know what? I completely
Because there's no way you're more frustrating than Taylor.
I don't need this.
At least you're not pushing me to romance this thing.
No.
You see
What
I'm
is
talking about?
That thing?
Lizelle.
I don't want that. I want this. Thank you.
Is this actually recording what's going on?
What? Oh, it froze. What is going on here? Hold on. Oh, son of a gun. Yeah, it's got you at the door.
That was when we started.
Yeah. Hold on. There. Got it back up. There you go. So no one saw a whole lot of anything. That was just a whole lot of door action, which is fine because I was talking. But yeah.
There we go.
Oh, so the other thing I wanted to talk to you about that I was going to wait till we were on stream about. How to Train Your Dragon. I don't want to see that.
I wouldn't mind seeing it, but
Lilo
I'm not
and
like looking forward to it.
Lilo and Stitch. I'm not excited for that.
I feel the same way about that as I do How to Train Your Dragon. Like I'll watch it, but like I'm not gonna.
I will full on wait till it hits Disney Plus. I'm not gonna pay extra to go watch it.
To be honest with you, I didn't think the Minecraft movie was that bad. Like it was not a good story. Like I'm not singing its praises. Like dude, you gotta watch it. It's deep. It's got meaning. It really sells the story. But like when I went in, because I brought my brothers, and they wanted to watch it, and I sat there. I laughed so hard watching the Minecraft movie. The freaking scenes where that lady's dating one of the dudes from Minecraft.
I did not know that was a thing that was happening. Gosh, come on, thank you. Like we do. We have David in the chat.
We have David in the chat?
Yeah, I wonder how long he's been there because like all my technology today I have been failing at 100%.
Oh.
So, I'm sorry David. I hope that you're still in the chat. My apologies. But look, hey, we got things there. He said, "Holy crap, haven't seen these guys in a week." Then he goes, "Weak mindset, do more." Now, I'm not sure what that was a reference to, but there it is.
A weak mindset, do more.
Weak mindset, do more, yeah. Let's see. So there is... This comes out May 16th. It's Final Destination Bloodlines.
No, I'm not interested in watching just happenstance murder.
I tell you what, dude. Safety Manager, that is actual nightmare fuel for a safety manager. You're looking at it and you can already be like, something bad's gonna happen here. All the risk assessments are going off.
It's just that maximum pucker factor. Just like,
yeah. I watched the trailer of it and I was like, oh, that's not any good. Oh, that's worse. Maybe that's how this is gonna. Nope, didn't see that coming. Yeah, there you go.
I think the whole point of the movie is that, like, the legacy of the people that survived in the first couple of movies.
It is in fact not.
Oh, I thought it was a legacy movie.
It is a legacy movie, but not like that.
Well, then why is it called Bloodline? Because that's what makes me think Bloodline. Like, oh, the people that survived, the children are gonna get.
You see, that's what I thought too. But what it is, it's a separate. It is the Halo 3 ODST to the Final Destination series.
What, like the side characters?
Kind of, yeah. So it takes a path that. So there was a woman who got a premonition about a bad thing that was going to happen, right? So she wound up stopping some of that from happening. Okay. And then, because of her premonition or whatever, she was able to basically look at Death's design and foil it her entire life. And because of that, she had kids, and then she had grandkids, and Now death is coming for all of them.
And it apparently, according to the trailer, wins.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, people are dying in that movie.
People die in every Final Destination
I know.
movie.
So like, death is mostly winning here. Like,
But death-
people skate through from time to time, but like, death wins.
Death is mostly winning in all of them. But there are some every movie winds up ending with one survivor. At least one. And that's how they keep on perpetuating the movie. So like in the first one, in the very first one, it was the dude's girlfriend. Like he kept on recognizing the signs and everything, and was able to like outsmart death for as long as he could, until the very last part of the movie when it takes out the girl's boyfriend and the jock. Took them both out, but then she winds up surviving, right? Then she has an appearance in Final Destination 2, Highway to Hell. Okay?
Woo.
And then that perpetuates on, and then the reference is made in Final Destination 3, the roller coaster one. And then I stopped watching after that. After Final Destination 3.
Couldn't really watch any of them.
But there's another one that's called Shadow Force. I have no idea what that is. Thunderbolts, I actually liked the Thunderbolts.
I freaking love Thunderbolts, dude. Thunderbolts was my jam.
Thunderbolts got such a bad chicken jockey. That's what David said. Thunderbolts got such a bad box office hit and everything like that.
Really?
Now, here's a few things.
It was so good.
Here's a few critiques I have of Thunderbolts, okay?
Bring it on.
And as Ian says, you always have critiques. Yes, I do. Always have critiques. But here's a few critiques I have. One, I'm not a big fan of characters being emasculated for no reason, for other than girl power type of thing, right? Not a big.
Who was emasculated?
John Walker mostly.
I didn't see it that way. I did not see it that way.
When it comes out, you get a second chance to rewatch it. Pay close attention to the way that Romanoff and Ghost talk to Walker.
I feel like that's how anyone, regardless of gender, would have talked to Walker in that moment. I feel like you and I would have talked to Walker like that.
It's actually a constant thing throughout the movie, though.
Even after he gets his redemptive arc, because this is what I explained to Ian too, is that he's a jerk. They treat him like a jerk, and then when he stops being a jerk, they treat him like a member of the family. That was his whole character arc through the movie. It wasn't like girl power. It was like we're gonna smother him with like our womanly fashion advice. It was like you're being a jerk, and they're calling him out on it, and they're just doing it the way that brought them closer as two characters.
I don't know. It seemed out of place to me, but I'll say this as far as that goes. Maybe I'll rewatch it. Maybe I will rewatch it and have a different take on it after I rewatch it. But right now, it just seems as though that's the way it is. They did a very similar thing in Dungeons and Dragons, and the directors outright said that that's what they were doing in that movie. And that's just a constant thing that winds up happening, where the male characters will get talked down to by the female characters, but that's never reciprocated. And I don't like that as far as writing goes. I think that if they're going to be razzing each other, they're going to be razzing each other. She didn't talk that way to Ghost. She only talked that way to Walker.
Because Ghost wasn't being a jerk.
Yes, Ghost was. Ghost actually started out being a jerk too. They all did, because they all tried to kill each other. None of them were friends.
I don't think Ghost acted in any way the same measure that John Walker was. John Walker, from the get-go, was being a snob. He was being arrogant. He was being full of himself. Ghost was none of those things. Ghost was at least approachable at the beginning. They didn't start warming up to John Walker until he just like started talking about that cactus after they finally made it out. That's when they finally started drawing closer. But up to that point, it was like them two versus him because he was a snob. It made sense. I would have wrote it that way too. I don't feel any wokeness vibes from this.
I didn't say wokeness. I didn't say wokeness.
Well, I'm not getting
but
raw women power from it.
But I like I said, maybe after I can rewatch it, because it's in theaters right now. Maybe after I can rewatch it, I'll have a different opinion.
Tell me you're broke.
I am broke. I'm always broke. I never have money.
I have one more key point.
He's broke too. Anyways, but speaking of John Walker and his redemption arc, I don't think that should have been John Walker's redemption arc. Here's the thing. I like the fact that he did kind of because that arrogance behind it and whatnot seemed to be used as a mask per se. And it was a great illustration to the way that he started out. He was wearing the helmet, the mask, right? And then towards the end of the movie, he took it off. And that's a great visual illustration as to John Walker's progression through there. This is what I didn't like that they did, because I think that they missed out on a really big opportunity with him. His whole thing was tearing at Bob, right? The whole movie is about dealing with emotion, dealing with grief, depression, anxiety, trauma, right? The whole movie is about that. Well, what's Walker's trauma?
Walker's trauma is the fact that he had in a lot of ways, it was kind of what Sam Wilson was dealing with, the high expectations of being that next symbol, failing, and then as you see in that flashback, which also gave us a more fulfilling version of his character, is that he let down his family and his wife got a divorce from him. So he had nothing. And why that mattered so much is because they were building them up as a family. They were a bunch of solo artists that, quite frankly, didn't care for each other. And then you get the main character, whatever her name was, Yelena. She kind of figures it out first, hey, we might need each other, actually. We kind of fit for each other. And John Walker is, obviously the very first person to be opposed to this idea. He was the most against it. And when we get revealed that, he doesn't have a family, he really needs what's happening right now. And he finally gives into it. That's why his arc is so good. He's got a much better character progression and arc than Ghost. Ghost kind of doesn't have anything going on. And she plays the parts here and there, and she gets plot points moved over. She's
a plot device, in my opinion.
I don't know if she's necessarily a plot device, because nothing hinges on her.
Except for getting out of the vault. Also getting out of the camp.
I don't think that would have been a problem for them sans her anyways.
The vault was 100% her.
Yeah, we can say that the vault was 100% her. I'll give you that. But I don't think getting out of the camp totally required her.
You're right. It didn't totally require her. However, it did. Not in totally, but it did require her according to the plan at that point in time.
But John Walker I think he played his part well, and it was perfect. And there's not much, if anything, I would change about him at all. My gripes with the movie personally is I would really have liked to have seen Taskmaster in it. Even if it's not the true Taskmaster character, I still would have liked to have seen Taskmaster as part of the family. Because, it still worked for a character. Lacked a family, needed a family, solo artist, worked with the Thunderbolts. It was perfect. Instead, we got surprised, and sure, it was a good shock and awe. She died at the beginning of the movie. Spoilers to our audience. She's dead. All right?
I think...
And so it did a good job of surprising the audience, but I would have personally liked to. I don't think it would have... I don't know if it would have really made the movie better, or if there would have been enough screen time to warrant dividing up the amount of background and character development for each of them. Because like I'm pointing out, Ghost didn't get a whole lot of that. John did. John got a lot of development for that movie.
Yeah. But I think this is what I...
Shoot, Red Guard got more than Ghost in character development.
Like I said...
She didn't really get a whole lot. She spearheaded a lot of things. There wasn't a whole lot of character development with her.
Plot device.
And if they had found another way to get out of that vault without her, that movie really didn't need her. Quite honestly. If they just found another way, hey, here's a panel with a bunch of fuses and you had John Walker just started beating the fuses, and all of a sudden the doors opened up. All of a sudden, like, not a big deal of the movie, Ghost. Now, did I like her being there? I loved her being there, and I would rather her be there than the alternative of her not being there, not getting to enjoy her character, just very flat character. Of all of the members of that team, she was a very flat character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we definitely agree with that one.
I don't think they mistreated John Walker at all in that movie. You and I have very different discussions about movies because when I talk to Ian, it's like, who is better, Steve Rogers or John Walker as Captain America?
Steve Rogers.
Because he was like, I think John Walker's stronger than Captain America. And I was like, I don't see the evidence, man. And come to find out, he never watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but there's a line of dialogue in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that shows how strong Captain America was. Because he's like, yeah, John did that vertical leap. And I was like, I've never seen Captain America do that. And I was like, well, I mean, I saw Cap pull that helicopter down to the ground. I mean, like, he did a pretty good job of that. And he's like, yeah, but John Walker picked up this armored vehicle through like a rope or cable. And I was like, that's neat. Have you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, there's a part in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where Captain America holds the record for pushing a bulldozer across a football field. And I was like, I don't see John Walker doing that because he struggled to hold up that concrete slab.
That's bad writing, actually.
He still did it. It still happened.
Yeah,
you can say it, but it still happened canonically.
Now, this right here is exactly what I've been trying to say is John Walker in that movie was not written very well because it is in direct contrast to all of the character that has been established with John Walker prior to.
You have to say that for both Bucky and Red Guardian too, because both of them should have been able to handle that slab as well.
I do actually say that for them. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that 3 super soldiers had a problem with an asphalt concrete slab. Okay, that is 100%.
I don't think that detracts from John Walker as a character, though.
No, that doesn't. I have other points.
And I don't think the way that the girls talked to him at the beginning detracted from his character.
No, that was just a problem I had with it. I didn't say it detracted from his character either. His
character was very strong in this movie.
That was
and him being the first one to acknowledge Bob when they got out of the void was important.
Yes, no, that's not what I'm saying either. Okay.
We're running out of things for you to talk about.
I'm trying to continue talking about it, but you're not letting me get anything out there, bud.
All right, say what you got.
Okay.
So this Friday we're gonna play Magic.
I'm gonna throw something at you. No, so here's the thing. I don't think that John Walker's trauma has anything to do. Now, don't get me wrong. The character development of him becoming more humble is a good thing. It is. But I think that arrogance and bravado that he was putting on there was masking his trauma from the way that he was handling his life, and the trauma that accents it is losing his best friend. The death of his best friend, which started the downfall of his career. To him, that was the catalyst when he murdered that terrorist. That then in Falcon and Winter Soldier, that's that pivotal point that hit him. You know, he stated a number of times in that show, I'm not trying to replace Steve Rogers. I'm just trying to be the best Captain America that I can be. That was it. And through that entire series, he kept getting railroaded by Sam and Bucky. And then his best friend was killed before him in the middle of a battle with terrorists. And the terrorists tried to flee. And he went over and he wound up killing him. You know? And that's the reason why that line in the movie Thunderbolts was actually important to me when they're like, you killed an innocent man. And he's like, all right, define innocent. He was trying to defend his point as to what he was doing. That guy wasn't innocent. He was a terrorist who had murdered plenty of people. Tried to murder Sam, tried to murder Bucky, tried to murder Walker, and did murder his best friend. The only not superpowered person in the room. And then he was totally blindsided and railroaded by, the military, his government, his bosses at the time, constantly throughout that whole thing. And then after all of that, even though he got a honorable discharge but never got any of his benefits or anything like that, still tried to be a good man and showed up to save, or not to save, he actually showed up to take out Morgenthau. But he wound up giving up his moment to seek revenge for his best friend and wound up saving an armored truck full of delegates by himself to that.
To that.
Yeah, to that. And then he gets offered this job as basically a wet work. What is it? He did all those jobs. He's basically a gun for hire for Valentina.
Yeah, bad lady.
Type of thing, right? And in that flashback, all that stuff is weighing on him because he hasn't dealt with Battlestar's Lamar, is his real name. He hadn't dealt with Lamar's death in the way that he should. That's why in that line in his flashback of, I'm doing things my way, and if you don't like it, you can leave, that was important because it illustrated that he was trying to deal with the death of his best friend and his career and his whole identity, which was centered around being a good soldier. He was trying to deal with all of that in his own way by basically pouring himself more into work and living in the past in that one moment and failing at it. And it kept eating him away that he was just not good enough. He wasn't good enough to be Captain America. He wasn't good enough to save his friend. Now he wasn't good enough to be a father or a husband. What was he good for? Valentina's attack dog. So in the movie, the arc that I would have loved to seen him, because the way that he was trashing on, especially because of the way that he was trashing on Bob the entire time through that movie, was when he was pinned to that bookshelf. Mm-hmm. Remember that? And how he got out? I think it should have been Walker to get Bob first, not Yelena. I think it should have been Walker to grab a hold of him because he's just that guy. He's just going down and letting it just consume him. It would have been a much greater moment if he would have grabbed him by that and tell him, trust me, this is not the way. You have to learn to let go. That would have been a much better form of writing for him.
I don't think that would have been better for the story, though. It makes sense that Yelena, really the main character, does it. Because she's the one he goes to kind of coincidentally for advice. And so it's her, taking back what she said before. I'm like, hey, no, I was wrong. This is not how you're supposed to do it. Let me fix that.
I think that she should have also been there because she was doing the same thing that Walker was. Those two actually had very similar grieving points that they were dealing with. Walker and Yelena did. Just different aspects of the same thing. I think that they both should have been there to kind of bring him back with it. But I do think that Walker should have been the first one to do it, to let him know that you can't let this consume you, type of thing. And here's the problem with all this. And this was actually something that was pointed out to me by Ian, of all people. Is that the movie Thunderbolts originally wasn't the Thunderbolts movie. It was originally Black Widow 2. This is the reason why Yelena has such a prominent role in the movie, why she's the main character, instead of it being an ensemble character as it was later on advertised. Mm-hmm. Thunderbolts was originally Black Widow 2. And it was Yelena taking on the mantle of the Black Widow and starting up a new team, type of thing.
Yeah, that's really what happened.
It is, but
Thunderbolts isn't the name of it anyways. It's
the New Avengers. Yeah, I did know that, but that's how they wound up. They had to actually wind up rewriting and reshooting a few things because the focus group got such a the focus groups that they ran on it got such bad feedback that they wound up reworking the movie. They just couldn't rework the entire.
I got a miss and a critical miss. That sucks.
They couldn't rework the entire thing. So I think that if they would have been able to actually focus on an ensemble, that would have been a much better moment. And I was waiting for it. I wanted that moment for Walker because, full disclosure to the internet and everyone there, I originally didn't like John Walker as a character in The Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Here's where, like, me trying to relate to you and what you're saying falls apart, and I had to do this to Ian too. I haven't seen Falcon and Winter Soldier.
That's perfectly fine.
So it's like I'm trying to like understand John Walker as a character. I haven't seen that.
I'll tell you. I'm gonna tell you what. I will send you some videos that Ian sent me. It is a dude that takes the defense of John Walker on there, and he breaks down pretty much just John Walker's points and scenes and things like that, and then gives his take and his advice on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're more than welcome, obviously, because it's America and it's a free country, the best country in the world.
Don't say that out loud. People will hear you.
But you can go and watch the series for yourself on there, and you can decide. But they very much in that series, they very much frame it as Walker is the bad guy in all of this, and that Morgenthau is a sympathetic villain, and which getting really sick and tired of that. Can we go back to just having villains for the sake of villains? Right? Okay, can I get another Joker, please?
She saved. Dadgummit. Someone else is going to get hit because she made a save.
But, yeah, David said, David in the chat, he goes, Kenny overtalks the internet? When?
Overtalks the internet?
That's what he said. And then, just the fact that you talk over people a lot. And then he put on also, no one liked John Walker. Not true, actually. So I didn't at first. That's the way that they framed it. And a couple of people that I talked to about it were a lot of the same. They didn't like him, but for many of different reasons that I'm not going to discuss over the internet. But after watching those videos, the ones that Ian sent me, and after reflecting more on it and rewatching the series and things like that, I completely agree that that they did that man dirty on there. They had a potential to have a really good character, and they really tried to. The internet owes John Walker an apology.
I mean, I never had a problem with John Walker because it makes sense to try to like. They did a good job. The MCU did a really good job of like taking the mantle of Captain America and try to do something with it because it really did mean something.
Very true.
And
Very true. I like
Falcon,
that.
You got John Walker. You've got that that older gentleman, the African American guy that was like
Luke?
Proto.
No, it wasn't Luke.
Proto Captain America.
Elijah.
They had the whole cool story with that. I liked all of that.
Which is all on the comics.
Which, I mean, they're doing a lot more with the mantle of Captain America than, like, Iron Man.
It's hard to do something with the mantle of Iron Man, especially with the previous leadership in Disney. They wanted to do a lot with Iron Man, actually. And by a lot, I mean they wanted to make Iron Man a younger black woman.
I thought they were going to set up for that. I don't know if it ever happened.
They were setting up for that, and then the project got scrapped because it received almost no positive feedback. It received less positive feedback than Blade.
The original Blade?
No, the new Blade that was coming out.
I didn't know there was a new Blade.
Yeah, they scrapped that too.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah. They went through, I think it's 4 different directors and 3 rewrites before the actor was just like...
Oh, no! Oh, dear Lord! Oh, jump!
Yeah.
Jump, you nerd! Jump!
Yeah.
Get out of the acid!
Yeah. Four. It was like I said, four
What? I'm stuck in a
director.
cage?
Yeah, four directors and three rewrites before the actor himself said,
Oh, I had the key.
"I'm done."
I just had the key to the cage. Okay. Oh God, acid. I'm already like super unhealthy right now. Anyways, you were diminishing the name of Blade.
I wasn't diminishing it.
I know you hated it. Yeah,
No,
it's all right.
I like Blade. Wesley Snipes, perfect guy.
I know we off track. We were talking about how much you hate John Walker, and then we started talking about how much you hate Blade.
I'm gonna draw on your face.
While you're awake.
You're not even gonna be asleep. No, but yeah, no, I like John Walker.
Oh, there was a glyph that teleported me into a cage. That's radical.
Yeah, I like John Walker, and I really like the original Blade trilogy. Even though Blade Trinity got a lot of bad rep to it, which yeah, okay, I can see why. But I liked it.
It happened again.
And
Yeah.
saving throws.
Hey, you do the thing. Get up, nerd. I need you to move your body. Holy cow!
You got like 1 health left. 2. You have 2 health
It's
left.
because they keep they have a whole bunch of teleportation traps all around this thing, and my guy keeps failing investigation checks, so I don't know where they are.
I think so, David. I agree with you on 2 points. Number 1, yes, I would like to see a good Reverse Flash in a movie.
That'd just be a psychopath.
In a movie, not a Reverse Flash movie by itself, but I would like to see a good Reverse Flash in a movie. And 2, I think that John Walker was written well. I don't think that the rest of the series was written well around him. They did everything they could to frame him as this unreasonable psychopath person, and I disagree with that assessment on there. He, throughout that entire series, he was calm and collected, even after the crap went down and with that terrorist and whatnot, and Bucky and Sam approached him. Even after that, I mean, we're talking just like seconds, maybe minutes after he just watched his best friend be murdered before his eyes. Even after that, he wasn't crying. He wasn't freaking out.
Why? I told him to jump up here on the ledge, and he dove into the water like an idiot. What the heck, game?
Yeah. He wasn't crying.
Now I gotta go rescue him like a freaking
nerd.
It's so frustrating. I said jump up on the ledge, and he's like, dive into water? Okay. Really? You can't jump that high? How is the monk jumping higher than you? You have a higher strength stat than him.
Isn't jump dex based?
No, it's strength based. Yeah, my character's straight dead. Like, he's dead. Because he dove into the water like an idiot.
Hey, what's that thing? Is that a trap?
Yeah, it's a trap. I'm trying to avoid it at all costs. Seriously, Shadowheart, you're stronger than him. How are you not able to jump as far? This is so stupid. I just got a spell for this. Where is it? Of course, it's out of range because you've got apparently tiny woman legs.
Can you walk on that ledge?
Don't. Yeah, apparently not. Totally wide enough. Really, you can't make that. That's so stupid.
What's stupid is that you go down there and your thing widens, but
It's
like
because I can jump farther if I'm jumping to a lower platform. That's so stupid.
Anyways, I think that I mean even after that in that kind of warehouse, he was still calm and collected, you know, and he was showed concern for them. He's like, you guys don't look so well. You should get yourselves checked out, looked at, things like that, right? And then they just kept on him, and even then he was trying to be calm with it, and then finally Bucky was like squared up on him, and Walker said himself, "You don't want to do this." And then they attacked him. Bucky and Sam attacked Walker, and through the entire fight of that one, he was holding back. Why are you guys making me do this? Trying to say stop, you know? And they kept on with him. Until eventually he lost his crap, and I will admit that that is a thing that wound up happening. And yeah, he wound up losing his crap, and
I'm encumbered? How am I encumbered? What has encumbered me? Are you saying this egg is a bajillion? How is it 20 pounds?
so you need to give that to someone who's stronger than you.
It's a quest item I'm not going to. Let's do this by weight. Oh, I'm not getting rid of all my food. I could probably go without the chest. The chest weighs less than the freaking egg.
You get rid of all that gold. I'm pretty sure that weighs a pretty penny.
This can be sent to camp. All that gold? Don't change. I will open it and take this, though. I'm starting to think maybe you're right. The jumping is dex-based. Because this... It's supposed to be strength-based, but this is... My guy can, for some reason, just jump super far. You. Hello, you. I'm clicking you. I would like to control you.
So how is it that Shadowheart is stronger than your monk?
Monks don't need to be strong.
Okay.
Dexterous is where it's at. So let's go to character sheets. 12.
Shadowheart is
she's
11.
Weaker. Never mind. I thought she was stronger.
Karlach, she's 18.
Tails 8. Who's weak sauce? This guy doesn't care. So relationships fair. Will relationships very good. And then Astarian relationships fair. Interesting. Okay. So she's got an 11 strength. She's not the weakest. She's the most middle of the road. Starting and Will both have 8 strength. The women on this team. Except for Kurz, the half-orc. Yeah, Gale's also got 8 strength. Good lord!
See, even
Gale, Will, and Astarion all have 8 strength.
see what I mean? Even in the game, they do it.
Yeah, well, I gotta go rescue my teammate here. Time to do some shadow ops. Excuse me while I just jumped ridiculously far. I know I've done that. No! Oh, I thought she was going to trip that trap. Yeah. I think my guy just did that with raw
He did.
jumping. All right, we did the thing that we came to do. Now let's talk to Lizelle, who's probably going to be mad that I just stole one of people's eggs. Why am I talking to the dresser? You look like you've seen some battle. I will. I was considering it. Why? My character just like went and hid in the corner and was like, "Oh, well, let's talk." All right, I desperately need a long rest because I haven't long rested in forever, and I've just been making these guys go through the meat grinder constantly. I haven't even been picking good tactics. Oh dear.
Oh, so, okay. Movies aside, I have recently decided to take up boxing.
Boxing?
Yep.
So why are
I will admit this was not a decision I came upon my own.
Well, that was friggin' quick. How many people are in this? Oh.
Yeah.
I really should have just went for a long rest.
You should have.
I just went and found more people.
You did. This is a thing that happened.
This is a problem. So we're just going to go ahead and...
They're still there.
I know, but I don't have to acknowledge them.
The problem did not go away.
Guess what's going to happen? We're going to go away. Just gonna go away.
Not enough movement.
Starring, why did you stop moving? What? What happened to your movement? Why? It said, hey, he can go all the way over here, and then it decided, like, no, he can't. And my guy, who has no business being in battle right now. I have so many people that are just cross-loaded with rogue. Cunning action is super nice in this situation, admittedly.
Yes, David. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu would be an easier find in our area. However, I don't think that I would do well at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu too. I do think that boxing is really good to learn.
Yeah. I like the idea of doing Jiu-Jitsu. Of learning
Boxing gets you super ready for fights.
of learning murder yoga, if you will.
Folding clothes with people still wearing them.
Yeah, I like that idea, but I don't think I have necessarily the physical capabilities of doing that anymore. There's a lot of damage and bad choices that I have to reverse with this body of mine before I can be of any good at jiu-jitsu.
What a goober.
So, but boxing would be a excuse me. I think boxing would be a good move for me. I was looking at some of Butterbean's old matches and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, the comeback of that guy. So he got wrecked hard. Butterbean did. Just a hard life wound up taking a toll on his body right?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, it did. Like, he got bad hips, bad knees, a lot of that, and then it winding up not being able, because he's a heavyweight champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he couldn't like go off and get a bunch of surgeries and stuff because he couldn't like lose enough weight to get the surgeries done. So he wound up walking like this, right? So if you see my hand, this right here is his legs. This is how he walked. His right there, the bent at the hips, having to walk using crutches. You know, like those.
Like the bodybuilder guys when they get old.
I guess so, yeah.
Have you seen those guys? Now Arnold obviously came away looking fabulous from it. But
Well,
there's a bunch of people that were competed to be Mr. Olympians that they can't use their legs.
Yeah.
Wasted their bodies.
Well, with him, it was more of a back and hip issues. So, yeah, he wound up having to use crutches as basically walking on all fours, like the monsters in creepypasta videos. He had to do that, and we can't see how you're walking. No, not me. Sorry, I was was pointing out to Kenny there. Let's see. David says, I got dominated by a 300-pound lawyer once he learned how to move a bit. You'd be fine. I appreciate your confidence in me, sir. I do. I'm concerned about my back and my knees, though, is what I'm concerned about. There's still parts of my lower back that cannot bend because of surgeries, which I'm sure I could find a way around that eventually, but probably not without injuring myself a few times first. And I don't want to risk that, to be honest with you. Fear's got a little bit of a hold on me, I will admit, on that one.
Well, lose weight.
Yeah, thank you. Well, so okay, so
I wanted to say something real there, and I give her stupid advice like that all the time. She's like, "Man, I'm so sick," and I was like, "Have you tried not being sick?" And she's like, oh, "You fixed all my problems." I'm like, "That's me, the woman whisperer." And I keep telling her I'm going to do that. I'm just going to go around giving stupid advice to women and call myself the woman whisperer. I'm going to fix all your problems.
Have you just tried not?
Have you tried not?
So what really kind of like drew me away from doing anything like flashy, like MMA and jiu-jitsu and things like that was, you remember, it actually wasn't even that long ago. It was like a couple weeks ago to a month ago, right? I was taping down the drag mat at my location, right?
Okay.
For the 120-pound drag. I was taping down the rubber mat to the floor. And just doing that wound up screwing up my back for like a week and a half. You remember when I walked in here and like I could barely move around and sit down and things?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all it took. And all I did was tape. And for most of that, I was actually like lying down to do it. But it screwed up my hips and my lower back so bad that I wound up like in pain for that amount of time.
I wonder how long this combat's going to go before they let me leave the combat.
Jokes aside, I think you should give a free session a try. I think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in your town actually will be better than boxing for you health-wise. I will, you know what? If I get transferred back to Pendleton at some point, and I get a free day, then I will go and talk to the jiu-jitsu guy here in town, and I will see if I can give it a shot. I'll see what that guy does for me. So I like the idea of boxing though too. Striking. You know what I mean?
Boxing is really good at getting you ready to like endure getting beat up. That's the thing. Like, obviously, a night and day difference from like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because it's a lot of grappling. You're on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get sauced and tossed and all kinds of things in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu too. But boxing does a really good job of being like, that's what it's like to get punched in the face. You're gonna get used to that, or you're gonna suck.
I mean,
in like a street fight or in any altercation involving a lot of different people, boxing teaches you good habits of like stay on your feet, control your distance, understand what it's like to get hit in the face, because sometimes it's unavoidable,
mm-hmm.
and that's more helpful than like I can put you in an ankle lock. And I like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I like what David does. I think that stuff is awesome. And like on a one-on-one, if I could just narrow down my focus onto one dude, it's diabolical the things you can do with them in that function. But in like, I don't want to use the term the real world, because what does that mean? But if I'm out there at a bar and a bunch of guys for some reason decide they have a problem with me, I'm not gonna ankle pick all 8 dudes. In that moment, I'm going to control the distance, throw some good punches, maybe figure out how to take some good punches, and get out of there, all right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to stick around and do the things necessary for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I do have a tremendous amount of respect for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'd rather do Jiu-Jitsu than boxing as a sport. But boxing sets you up for a lot of like real-world applications. Not that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has no real-world application at all. I love it to death. But it's like, as David probably knows, in the military, they say the guy who wins the fight is the one whose buddy shows up first. Well, if I'm just trying to survive until my buddy gets there, both have their merits.
Mm-hmm.
One is because I stayed on my feet, I controlled the distance, and I kept that guy away from me. And the other one is like, oh, I grappled him, and I kept him close by, and I held him down until my buddy could show up and do something about it. So I like to think that, I'll give an example like Jackie Chan in almost any of his comedy movies. Like, that's actually, believe it or not, good advice for fighting. Like, use the environment to your advantage. Start throwing things, control the distance, stay away, get them tied up in something, and then run. That's awesome. That's what you want to do. That's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, no, I actually kind of I don't know as much about it as obviously you and David do as far as jiu-jitsu goes and whatnot. I will say this, as far as the boxing goes, yes, it does kind of get you ready to get hit in the face because sometimes, like you said, it's unavoidable. But a lot of the boxing technique, at least what I've been researching on since taking on it, a lot of it is learning how to defend against it, how to slip a punch.
Yeah, or where it's best to take a punch.
Yeah.
So instead of just getting clocked in the nose or the jaw, which will just traumatize you, like dropping down to where you can take it in the forehead or in the top.
Yeah.
Somehow deflecting.
Cover the face, lower the head. You know?
Crazy monkey.
Yeah.
It's something that we went over.
Learn how to throw the twist the elbow to catch it in the palm of the hand. Things like that.
And those are all things that you can't really do in karate. Like karate, I have respect for karate
as a sport.
But karate isn't gonna, like, I'm not getting punched in karate. I don't know what it's like to get beat up in karate. I know what it's like to get beat up in jiu-jitsu and boxing. It hurts. It doesn't hurt in karate. Good God, if it hurts in karate, you get told you're doing it wrong.
I knew this kid. His name was Wes. I went to school with him years ago, and that dude studied karate, very intensely studied karate, right? He was able to separate karate the sport and karate as a practical application, and that dude rolled me around my yard so many different times, and that was back when I actually did fight quite a bit. I actually did some of the very, very amateur mixed martial arts and stuff. Everything that my brother was teaching me that he learned from the army, as well as just stuff that we wound up learning and picking up as we grew up, type of thing. That dude was really good at what he did, and he only did karate. So that's just my 2 cents on that one. All right, let's read the comments. To add to Kenny, boxing attracts egotistical morons like him and I.
Boxing does?
Yeah, that's what he said. Egotistical morons like him and I. So you and David. Jiu-jitsu is more relaxed, especially at your local gym. And then he says, to correct Kenny, I don't fight until my buddy shows up. I fight to win. So if he, I guess he's saying.
I was just speaking military doctrine. You think he would know that, given that he, anyways. And of course, you fight to win. Duh.
I do think that David maybe misheard that one a little bit. You said the one who wins the fight. A person who often wins the fight is the one whose buddy shows up first. Mm-hmm. That is what you said.
That's the definition that the Army likes to give it.
Yeah.
And there's reason for that too. Is that well? There's a lot of things I'm not going to get into on that.
Strength in numbers is essentially what it is. But no, I want to. Yeah, I'll go and check out the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and see what it's like there. They do have boxing here in town. My daughter actually attended boxing with her mom there for a while. So it's not like it's not plausible here. Joining a gym to it, for me, would be really hard nonetheless. Either way it is, for jiu-jitsu or for boxing, because it requires a lot of time and a schedule that I can't.
How long is that going to keep me in this combat?
I can't always commit to.
Snickers.
You go back and it turns out they're following you.
Why does it keep us in combat? They've just been standing around. They're not even doing anything.
I think you're going to have to fight them.
I hope not. How far away does it want me to get before it just says, all right, cool? Because I did that all through Act 1. I would break away from combat, and then they would eventually give up. And now they're just like standing around and not giving up for some reason.
David says, I'm actually curious on the doctrine that says that. I haven't come across that in any of my manuals that I've studied. That's also fair. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu takes more time to get good at. Boxing is a lot simpler. Yeah, I'm going to accept that. Because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a lot of like full body manipulation, understanding body mechanics, things like that. Whereas boxing itself is a lot of yes, it is, but it's less body mechanics than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to it. Boxing is less of learning how to manipulate your opponent and more of how to react and plan ahead. It's also a more, at least the way that I see it, from a layman's perspective, it's a lot more of a precision type of combat at that one, because you're having to react to someone punching at you, right, to a strike, and at the same time reacting with a counter strike to that one, and you have to hit you have to hit certain points if you're looking for it for any like real combative sense. Hitting precise strikes in certain parts of the body to get it to react the way that you want it to. Like you can haul off and just like mollywop someone in the arms all you want, but that's nothing to a really good shot to the liver. That's your turn off button right there. That'll factory reset you.
Crack someone in the jaw.
Yep.
A good hook to the jaw.
And it's really good on like endurance and footwork too. Learning how to maneuver at a strong, steady base, and very
boxing is
very
more
quickly.
Consistently fast paced.
Yeah, it is.
And obviously, difference between grappling and striking, just in general. It's I one of the things I like about jiu-jitsu more than boxing, because I just personally like jiu-jitsu more than boxing, is that I can practice and get good at jiu-jitsu and not kill myself. Because jiu-jitsu is naturally more slow-paced. It's not necessarily always slow-paced, and there's certain things that you can only do if you give it a lot of momentum to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not taking cracks on the head constantly in jiu-jitsu at fast-paced fighting tempo. Jiu-jitsu, I can get good and have fun exploring it and competing against other people, rolling on the mat, so to speak. And I could do that into a ripe old age. But in boxing, it's like, I'm going to die. I'm going to Muhammad Ali this thing and have, like, all the mental status. Unless someone's, like, tackling me to the ground and dropping me on my head constantly, I'm not going to take a whole lot of head trauma in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. You know, when I was younger, you want to know, there was 2 fighting styles I really wanted to learn when I was younger.
You were like, Muay Thai.
Yes, actually. Muay Thai was one of them, but the other one was Hung Gar Karate. That was one that I really wanted to learn too. I saw two shows that really it made Hung Gar Karate look really attractive to me. One was Avatar: The Last Airbender, the cartoon, not the movie. But the Earthbenders, that's Hung Gar Karate. And I liked that type of thrash and bash type of fighting style. And then Muay Thai. Muay Thai seemed, to me, at a younger age, seemed a lot more practical yet lethal for it. And I was actually watching, I'm going to shoot you the video.
Speaking of, like, hard on the body, Muay Thai, good lord.
Well, when I was younger, I could take a hit. I could take a lot of hits when I was younger. Like, every contact sport that I ever played, that was pretty much just like my go-to was take as many hits as you can and keep going. That's why my brother told me before my back got broken. That's why my brother told me that he said that I think you'd make a really good soldier because I can take a lot of physical punishment and keep going. That was his, and that was right after, that was while he was in the Army. You know, when he got back from Iraq. He thought that I would do really good. And then my back got broken and boom, that's all gone at that point. But Muay Thai was one that I wanted to do. Man, those elbow strikes, the flying knee, the shin kicks. I'm going to hit you with my chest.
They do some brutal stuff, and it's really, really intimidating. Like, I wouldn't want to fight somebody in Muay Thai. Those guys are not going to have a good old age, I'll tell you that much. But they will hurt. Ow. Now, I don't know, Muay Thai has probably one of the better striking martial arts that you can learn and still be good at like very close range, if not grappling in general,
Mm-hmm.
because of the practiced knees and the elbows.
There's a
Muay Thai's pretty good. I would rather fight a lot of other people before I get to Muay Thai.
there's a show that I came across on YouTube. It takes six martial artists and puts them through a battery of like self-defense scenarios. And I've only gotten to one episode, and it's the bar fight scene. And the only one that I've seen so far, because like I watch it periodically when I'm at work, so I don't get to see a whole lot of it, it was the Muay Thai guy to begin with. And he did a decent job.
Have you seen they come out with a new sport that's like grappling in cars? There's a guy in the driver's seat.
Car wrestling.
Yeah, car wrestling. Have you seen that?
I have
I've
seen
snippets of it here and there. It's just you start out, you both have your seatbelts on. One's in the driver's seat, one's in the passenger seat, and you try to get the other one to submit. I was like, this is interesting. I would suck at it because I'm tall and like cars suck for me, but I would give it a shot.
You would suck at it. I'd get stuck,
I couldn't
especially if I was.
What was I gonna do? Like pull you over my lap and put you in rear naked?
I mean, especially if I was in like the driver's seat, because my legs are so short. I'm hitting that steering wheel every time. I'm not getting out of that spot.
There's a bit of like a formidable defense being your size, though. Like I'm both lightweight and I can get stuck places.
Comment section. Let's see. Kenny brings up some good points. There are so many mindsets to martial arts. He says, I've won cage fight without throwing or taking a punch with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling. And then he says, Muay Thai is a beautiful art that I refuse to truly practice. They rearrange their organs on purpose to be good at it. Ooh.
Believe it or not, that a little bit of that. I'm not going to say this is a tremendous amount, but there is a bit of that in karate.
He said, at least the older style.
And it's true, yeah. Not only do they like break down their bones so that they grow back stronger, but in order to better receive and endure impact on the torso, you got to move things around.
I don't like that idea. I think things are supposed to be right where they are.
You know what martial art I'm not sure how to feel about is Krav Maga. Like, whenever I talk to somebody about Krav Maga, it's never like a middle of the road discussion. It's always like, it's really good, and like you can't have anything unless Krav Maga's in there, or it's like Krav Maga's just fake news.
I have heard,
and it seems to be a lot of places too. Like they teach it at the prison for the, not the inmates. I was going to say the inmates.
The guards.
The guards, yeah. They teach them Krav Maga.
Mm.
And I'm sure there's a certain amount of Krav Maga somewhere in military training because there's like a little bit of everything in military somehow.
Yeah. I've heard, this is what I've heard about Krav Maga, and it's a good middle-of-the-road scenario. Krav Maga is a really good martial art against, like, just the average Joe person. But if you get anyone who has any technical ability whatsoever, Krav Maga is next to worthless.
The only thing I've ever heard a Krav Maga instructor say that I thought was like, that makes sense, is he told me and obviously every instructor or someone that's going to teach something, they're going to have their views and opinions put onto the martial art itself. Mm-hmm. But he said what he liked about Krav Maga is that Krav Maga preaches the fact that you got to soften somebody up before you do a maneuver. Because this isn't wrestling. This isn't, and by wrestling he meant like WWE.
Yeah.
Like you're not just going to go out there and do this fanciful move and just like wow the audience. No, that guy's going to like poke you in the eye and then call you a nerd because you tried to do something funny. So Krav Maga was like, hey, if you're going to do a wrist lock, punch him in the nose a couple times, then put him in a wrist lock. And I was like, yes, I like this instructor.
David said Kenny would still find a way to slip under the seats and rear naked choke you if it.
I feel like a villain from the X-Files.
Kenny would still find a way to slip under the seats for a rear naked choke if it's not a 1v1.
You know how funny it'd be to have one of those fights go on and you got so ruckus the airbag deployed?
Oh man, you know how bad that would suck?
It's like someone's like getting choked out and they're like kicking the dash and the airbag deploys, his leg goes.
Have you been hit with an airbag?
No.
Dude, let me tell you.
That will pop some blood vessels.
Let me tell you.
No. Let me tell you.
It sucks. I've been hit by a lot of things.
Fake news.
That sucks. I got hit in the arm by an airbag that deployed from the frame by the window, right?
Okay.
That just hit my arm right here, my forearm, so hard, and I was holding on to the steering wheel. It hit my arm so hard that it bruised it from elbow to wrist, right? And it bruised it so bad that the doctors could have sworn that my arm was broke.
And you said, yes, give me some medicine.
No, I didn't. Because I didn't even realize it, so I didn't pay attention to it because it didn't hurt at all, and I was more worried of like, okay, did I hurt my back? Also, how am I getting home? Because
there, finally, they stopped combat. Holy smokes!
Also, how am I getting home? But they did a X-ray, full body X-ray scans on me and everything. Nothing was broke or whatnot. But even after I got home after that, my wife thought that my arm was broke, and I was like, no, it honestly it doesn't even hurt. To be quite frank with you. Gave me a TBI so bad that I couldn't see straight for 2 weeks. But hey, my arm was okay. Krav Maga is the best martial art for casuals, and I don't mean that to be demeaning. It's actually good to learn for people. It's just simple and brutal. Nice. There you go. Middle of the road people.
It certainly is. If you listen to somebody say what it can do. Time to go to sleep.
My nose almost got smashed in by a plastic fire extinguisher once. It was terrifying. Oh, because an airbag deployed, David? Or were you in a bar fight? Why are you talking to a dress?
She's like not there. She's just not. The game is not.
It's not loading the person.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a word for it. I'm sure David would know.
Rendering.
There you go.
Interesting. Okay. But yeah, no, I wanna take up a little bit of boxing and whatnot. I did some of it, backyard boxing and whatnot when I was younger. Learned a little bit like that, but that was not from any professional or technical gym or whatnot. It was just literally what I needed to learn growing up. So like I could square up on someone. I knew how to dodge and how to slip a couple. I knew how to block and counter with a jab, and I always had an advantage because I'm a southpaw. But I wasn't at striking and whatnot. I wasn't good enough, and I allowed myself to be too arrogant, and I got my butt handed to me quite a bit, which is why I started learning more of inside and grapple moves and whatnot. Started mixing it up, if you will. And then I was like, you know what? I don't think that I want to fight anymore, and so I stopped. But as I get older, I realize that sometimes a fight is unavoidable, and I should always be ready to defend myself and my family. Also,
What do you need to talk about?
Also, it's really good to just, work out. So, he says, nope, vehicle went upside down in a simulator and landed right in front of my face. Oh! Well, there you go. Boxing might be bad for you. I'm telling you.
If you think that guy had problem with his hips and his back, you're gonna have problems with your hips and back. A lot of boxing has to do with your legs. Because if you can't move, you're just gonna get hit.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else to it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be agile in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
You can lay down in jiu-jitsu.
Lying down is what hurt me before, remember? We just had this discussion. Lying down and taping a mat to the floor. Like, I get what you're saying on there. I just think it's hilarious that that's your selling point. When my injury was because I lied
Yeah, but
down
you lay down
for
every day and it doesn't hurt you. Okay, so
yes, it
clearly
does.
laying down
Oh,
doesn't hurt
don't
you.
even start. It hurts. It
So
hurts
you're
to
saying
lie
you
down.
Go to bed, it's like painful every night.
Dude, it actually is. Not gonna lie on that
How
one.
come you've not done something about this?
Because I can't. I have metal rods in my spine. There is
We tried taking them out.
okay, so I can not walk. All right, that'd be great. Excellent work.
Just
Totally can keep my CDL after that.
come to work, just looking out the back. Hey guys, what's going on?
No, we've had this
I
discussion.
have a no bones day.
We've had this discussion before. Lying down actually really does hurt quite a bit. I believe, when the neurologist was talking to me, which is it's something that I need to get better about. But losing weight is the biggest thing.
Yeah, it is truly.
Especially for someone like me, because I carry all of that.
Owlbear Cub.
I carry all of that weight in the front. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So losing weight is the biggest thing there, and then re-strengthening my lower back and my hips, which I think boxing will help out with. It's also a way that I can do it at home with very little hindrance on my family. Boxing might be bad for you. I'm telling you, an art that's a bit gentler might be better for your personality and physicality. Speaking as a friend and not just as a protector. No, I'm taking your. I'm not trying to argue with you on it. I'm taking your advice.
You should try Tai Chi. Just start doing martial yoga.
Martial yoga. That's actually not a bad idea.
It'll help you stretch out your body, which is really good for your joints, and it's low impact.
Yeah. I was going to say it's not a bad idea. No, David, there's the jiu-jitsu place here in town that when I get a free actual day that I would go I'd like to go down there and check it out and see what's what and see if he can give a free lesson. I'm just concerned about tweaking my back. So, I have to do it on a
no bones day.
Basically on a no bones day, yeah. So but No, Tai Chi was on my list of things. But there's you ever heard of Diamond? Of course you have. You watch wrestling. Diamond Dallas Page, DDP.
Yeah.
So he hurt his back really bad, actually.
Mhm.
And from what it was actually worse than mine, from what I understand, because mine is just in my L1, 2, and 3. That's where the rods are. His, I believe, was actually in his a couple of vertebrae in his lumbar, as well as in the thoracic region, which is the middle region of your back, right?
Yeah.
He got into yoga. Yoga was a really big thing that actually helped him out, and he kind of manipulated it or adapted yoga into his own style. He has his own program now called DDP Yoga. So
I did not know that.
yeah, I saw it on Shark Tank years ago, and it's actually the same program that Butterbean, who I was telling you about, he screwed up his back and hips. It's actually the same program that he used to lose weight, so that way he can get surgery, so that way he can start boxing again. So, but no, I just muted myself, didn't I? No, I didn't. No, I'm not arguing with you on that, David. I agree that jiu-jitsu would be really, really good for it. I will go down and check it out. Now, these other ones, Muay Thai and karate and things like that, those were all things that I was looking at when I was...
made it out of there without being detected.
Those were all things that I was looking at when I was younger and more able, more fit, if you will. So, okay. But it's 9 o'clock, sir.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Off the Rails Podcast. I've been your host, Kenny, and I'm joined by my good friend...
Hey, everyone. I am Tony, the guy who pushes all the buttons. And thank you guys for commenting in the comments. It was great discussions all around.
Comments.
Yeah. Great discussions all around. Remember to tune in again next week.
Yeah, next week.
Next week for another Off the Rails podcast. Hopefully we'll have more to discuss then.
One day I'll beat this game.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day he'll get out of the hallway.
Shoot your face.
Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Rumble, TikTok, the internet stuff. And as always, it's